won't show up on YouTube.
That's true.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. This is. Hey, no. You stop.
That could be. That shit could be blocked from like back in the day when we were in G+. For fuck's sake.
It is that. Things have been so crazy, and thank you everyone for showing. Yes, we are live now. This is. Oh. Help me forget. Help me forget that fucking shit show.
Well, hey, I can't help you there because I don't know which one of many you're referring to.
The movie we were just talking about and trying to power through, but somebody didn't let me just speed through the battle portions of it because it was fucking inconsequential. Granted, it
Very much so.
It looked pretty. It looked pretty, though. I will give it that. Man. But,
so how many times did you need to bash your head against the desk?
More times than I care to count?
I have a lot of problems with Nemesis.
Anyone with a functional brain has problems with Nemesis. And that is really the thing, is they should have ended with Insurrection. It was a better, more appropriate end to the
Insurrection
story.
was a good movie. It was a good movie, too. It actually was a good movie.
A lot better than some people give it credit for. Yeah, I will admit that I was wrong about it for a while. Then I went back and actually watched it with a more mature lens, and holy shit, it's actually a decent movie.
Yeah, it's a decent movie. Picard finds a love interest that he actually takes, time with, basically.
That he
Literally.
could do something with.
Yeah.
And the Enterprise has a flight stick.
Well, now, if you want to talk about sticks and...
and how well Riker handles it.
Yeah.
He gives good stick. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, he knows how to use the stick.
Why are we talking about Galaxy Quest?
That's what. It seems like the Trek movies are all like that. They have a lot of story, but the effects are really cheesy, or the story's good, but or the story's bad and the effects are good. Like the J.J. Abrams ones, they tend to be a little bit more into effects. Like it's a lot more raw looking in Abrams than it is in
lens
even
flare
the
like crazy.
60s. Yes. He used a lot of practical effects, I should say.
I'm surprised that the
JJ used a lot of lens flares.
A lot of lens flares and a lot of camera shaking. A lot of camera shaking.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that the lens flares don't have lens flares themselves.
I was going to say, aren't you going to call all the J. Abrams movies lens flare movies?
Did he graduate from Full Sail too? Does anybody know?
He must have.
The lens flare within a lens flare.
Because that would be JM Truth like.
Oh, we're gonna have a lens flareception. What the fuck? But actually, there were a couple things that actually came up in the wonderful week that was that I think would be a bit more entertaining to get some people's view on. And God's Auditor, I see your ass out there. You were quite vocal about one of them. So what's stopping you from joining in there, buddy? You were quite opinionated about that Angry Cops video, so now's the time. We can have that discussion.
I say, Jared, it sounds like you have some pain sticks at the ready.
No, but I am fully ready for a shark attack.
No, I mean, you could always. The issue today is I showed Jared.
A Sharknado attack.
Oh.
I still haven't watched any of those movies.
I haven't watched a single one either.
I mean, I've seen what is his name? What's the channel's name? Everything Bad About, and then movie title.
Everything wrong with.
From what
Yeah.
Cinema Sins.
Yeah, everything
Cinema
wrong
Sins.
with and everything, and yeah, CinemaSins and the opposite and so on. But yeah, from what I've seen, I don't think I'll be watching any of those Sharknado things.
Yeah.
Oh no, a good series to watch as well for a counter to it is watch Everything Wrong with Cinema Sins. There is a guy who actually
for some reason.
there is a guy who cinema sins. So there's a guy giving a critique of the movie that is based solely off of the critique given in CinemaSins.
And it's not the what is his name? The drunken Scotsman that also does movie reviews.
Critical Drinker.
Yeah, Critical Drinker. Yeah.
I've had enough. Go away now.
He's so funny. Yeah, he's so fucking hilarious.
That's hilarious.
So, Jared, real quick, I remember you, in the stream you just had about talking about how some directors don't pay attention to
Anything?
the source material. Do we really want to go down that road? Because all I gotta do is say one fucking movie that had ruined Hollywood for me on a lot of shit,
Oh, which one?
and any other probable nerd as well too. So.
Which one? I'm interested to see where your line was.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh.
Never watched it, but I've heard nothing but bad things about it. And so we got a question from the chat. NANA asked, is this on Saturdays from now on? Yes, because it made more sense with the schedule and with the panel to get more of an eclectic mix if we go with Saturday nights versus Friday nights.
All them fancy words and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say I'm here. Oh my god. I'm actually
Yeah.
here, guys.
Yeah, Bowlinator was one of the reasons why. I have no shame in admitting that.
Yeah, we definitely need more army guys in here. Way too many seamen. No, wait, sorry. Way too much seamen.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
They're a bit salty.
Are you speaking from experience
No.
or personal knowledge? Okay, I can't speak. Damn. Knowledge or...
Don't speak. I know just what you're saying.
Well, so
Yeah.
who else here actually watched the Angry Cops video that I linked earlier this week?
Oh, I haven't yet, unfortunately. Well, wait, there's been two.
Well, no, the
If
one
I'm
that
not
I
mistaken.
linked in the server. The whole
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and
no, not yet.
a change to the training tactics, thanks to
Oh,
the sergeant
the shark
major
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. It's almost as cringy as that. Oh, we shouldn't be yelling at them. We should be nursing them, caressing them, stroking them. Oh, shut the fuck up. It's so
Phrasing. Don't stroke your recruits.
Okay, that definitely sounded like personal experience. You're really yeah
You should
showing
love
everything,
your
aren't you?
pets. You should love your pets. Just don't
Yep.
love your pets.
Yeah.
No, you can love your
Especially
pets.
the bitch.
You can love your pets, just don't love your
Love
pets.
Love your pets.
But hey, God's auditor, you're out there. You're aware of the policy change. You wanted to bring something up about it. You know where the link is, buddy. Hey, Coral. You're not allowed to say stuff like that in the live chat unless you're on the panel.
By the way, I'm looking forward to our collaboration, Coral. I am. the writing thing.
Oh.
You got to see a few of the videos that they want to use for intros. Pretty dynamic stuff, considering. I was impressed. You have impressed me, Coral.
Coral, if I didn't post the link, how are 5 of the 6 people here? Historical philosopher, non-vets are always welcomed in the chat. As a matter of fact, it is kind of part of the thing that if people are curious about aspects of the military, people in the military, how you react after being in the military, or while you're still in the military, for a couple people we have in the community, we really don't see many questions as off limits unless it's a bit too personal. We do have certain lines, but not many that I can think of.
Have we found them yet? Oh, wait, we have actually.
I think it depends on who's asking the question, though, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do recall me redlining a squirrel at some point. While talking about personal experience, I got too descriptive. Yeah.
Speaking of that, like, did you guys have any scandals in your units at all? Like, even like a basic training unit scandal or anything like that? Because I had one. There was a recruit. I forget her fucking name, but she had to come out and recite some serious fucking bullshit, and she got demoted. She got an Article 15, and she got an Article 15 because one of the drill sergeants was caught screwing her. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who was caught and got in trouble for doing that, but I did hear about a bunch of people, mid and senior enlisted, who got in trouble for cooking meth on board.
What?
God,
you guys are
worse.
weird.
But they don't.
I mean,
seriously.
the closest like I ever got was I was actually part of it, and it was when we were the group of us that didn't need to be on the ship turned sea trials went from Kittery, Maine to Virginia. So I drove one of the other guys' cars, and people swore up and down I burnt the clutch out on that by the time we got to the sub base. And the guy got there, was like, "No, I told the fucker he had a goddamn hole in the radiator to be careful and keep filling it up." That was as far as I got with any scandal in my shit. So
Wow.
Oh shit.
Hey, she made it, but she's muted.
This girl would come out of drawing her rifle, basically. Just some ludicrous punishment for what happened, basically. Yeah, that's not a good image at that point in time. This was in the mid-90s.
You want ludicrous punishment? Hey, so this person over here got in trouble for drinking at the bar on base, so your entire ship has to stay on board.
Yes.
Or if you are lucky enough to live off the ship, then you can go home, and that's it. Welcome to Japan.
so my captain wasn't that bad, but he was pretty close.
Oh, that was forward deployed in Japan. If anyone on your ship fucks up, your entire ship suffers. And they also used to have a DUI board aboard a shame right at the main gate. So as you were coming on base, you would see the pay grade, the department, and the ship of people who were caught drunk driving on base. That went all the way down to a driving while drinking indicated, DWDI, which was at a level of .03.
Nice.
That board went away once someone of the staff of the Admiral on the Blue Ridge got caught.
I actually got
Go
caught.
fucking figure.
They tried to write me up once for smoking information.
Smoking or smoking hot information? I mean, there is a difference.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, in this
As
case,
in-
it was a cigarette. It was back when I was
As in-
smoking.
As in while on a march or while standing information, waiting for
just-
some high roller to come in?
No, here's the story, okay? So
Of a man who... Oh, sorry.
we were in, it was A school at the time, and over at Trayson, Yorktown. And the guys got together and decided that they were all going to get up really fucking early and do a run. I don't know why. Someone decided it was a brilliant idea. And so, of course, me and the other, heathens was like, no, I'm going to go smoke. And so right before we started run, we were all in our PT gear, all getting ready to run. But me and some of my friends were off in our little area before everybody showed up, smoking a cigarette. And so then when everybody, I guess, showed up, they're like, it's time to begin or whatever. Everybody get in formation, and that we're going to do our route over in Cape May. And I took one last drag of my cigarette, blew it out as I was running over to formation, and someone saw and said that I was smoking in formation.
Lame.
Yep.
That's pretty lame.
Yeah, that's not even controversial.
Right. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I ever, like, what the? I'm like, when the person was trying to get me in trouble, I was like, did you even ask? Like, really? Like, when? What are you talking about? I'm like, I'll break some rules, but come on. You're just stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're a smoker, you want to keep smoking. You won't bullshit
Right.
that kind of stuff.
I mean, the funniest part about it is at the time I was technically underage. So if they wanted to get me on anything, it could have been smoking while underage.
well,
Technically,
they
no, there's either or.
Well, no, technically they don't have a regulation against that, but underage drinking, they do.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Depended on the captain or whoever was in charge at the time, depending on the base, because it really did depend. Because when I was over in A school, it was fine. But when I got stationed up in Hawaii, there was a chief that just got something under his bonnet. Did not like the fact that I was underage and that I could get away with smoking. And so he tried to appeal to the rule that on the ship we go by federal rules and laws. And so since the federal legal age is 18 for smoking, you can't smoke a cigarette until you're 18.
But isn't that state law too?
Not necessarily. Well, I think that there are state laws as well. So I was stationed in Hawaii at the time, but I don't remember if they particularly had. I mean, they had the federal,
Yeah, you had the federal
Ticker
sales limit,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, on the state side of it, Hawaii kind of has a bigger issue to worry about. Something a little more crystal and a little more potent.
Yeah, yes, that's true. But because I was on the base, and this chief saw me smoking, and when they first saw me, okay, so I joined at 17. I had graduated early from high school. Mom and Dad signed so I could go in early because I wasn't about to stick around and wait a year before I could sign up. So they let me go in early, which I was fine with. What's that?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
But I was already really young looking anyways. And so when I had first joined, people would always be like, but you're not old enough to be in the military yet. So because of that, I looked like I was 13, 14 years old. And they're like, you're too young to be in the military, but you're too young to smoke. And so this chief was like, no, you can't do it. Until you're 18, you are not allowed to smoke a cigarette.
Weird. We don't even have any laws regarding how old you have to be before you're allowed to smoke. There's laws about, buying cigarettes, but not smoking. The same goes for alcohol too. I mean, you're allowed to buy alcohol from the age of I think it's 6. No, that's for cigarettes. You can buy cigarettes at 16. No, wait, shit. You can buy alcohol from the age of 16 too. Yeah, that's it.
But isn't your country one of those where the legal age is can you sit at the bar yourself?
No. In regards to bars, you have to be 18 or above to legally be inside of a bar or a pub or a disco or a place where they serve hard liquor, etc. You have to be 18 or more.
No, I meant just like a beer or wine.
Because
I know that there are some countries where like 13, 14 years old. Oh yeah, here's a glass of wine.
Yeah, well, that would be illegal. Both, not for the kid, but for the manager or owner of the establishment and for the employee that served it. They get hit hard if somebody gets their panties in a twist and complains about it to the police.
Well, there's some like, thing where there's like a certain age limit for buying alcohol. Is what he's talking about. Like so.
Buying
someone say at
versus
6
consumption.
Yeah, someone at 16 in England, for example, can drink, assuming they're with an adult, but they wouldn't be able to buy alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it literally is no age limit in terms of when you're allowed to smoke or when you're allowed to drink alcohol. But for the buying, there is, of course. But yeah, and by the way, I do believe that Denmark is one of the worst nations in terms of, well, if you ask Gearstreber, he would say best nations in terms of how much beer we consume per inhabitant.
The more, the better.
We swallow a lot of beer.
It almost begs the question: do you guys even taste it when it's going down?
What? Are you saying it has taste?
Point confirmed.
But hey, then again, I have tasted Guinness, those strong, pitch black beers. They're horrible.
They're a bit too rich. But
stouts, I like stouts.
Coral, you'll like this one from Historical Philosopher. The girl speaking still looks very young. I'd say 25, maybe.
Ooh, thank you. I'll take it.
That's funny, but yeah.
I would concur.
Aw, thank you.
But
It does look quite young.
But
with you looking young,
Yeah.
not with that being funny.
But the
I wouldn't be surprised if you were the youngest here. Yeah.
well, here's a question, Coral. You said you would take that compliment, but what about the game that I shared with you earlier?
That game looks freaking amazing. Okay, I am in love with it.
Are we talking
Like-
about what I think we're talking about, Jared?
I'm not even gonna
Yes.
lie. I was
Yes.
watching that dying of laughter. That looked awesome.
What game now?
Would you like to say the name of it, Coral?
No,
I think she should.
no. I have to Google it and see.
Oh, oh
It
no,
had something with.
no.
I
Wait,
think
what? I'm
Yeah,
confused as hell right now.
No, you have
Oh.
Cherish say it instead.
And that's the thing.
Make her
I'm going to.
say it. I
Let
don't
me get
know.
ready to press
Prelude.
record.
Moist voice, please.
I've been recording this whole time. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
You have.
So
I can't. My mouth is full.
I just sent the name of it to Karis if she would like to read it.
Oh, she would she?
I said I
Well.
asked if she would.
If you say so.
Obviously, you don't have to.
The name of the game is Genital Jousting.
What?
Hold your stick and hold it tight.
Yes,
And for
that's
some
right.
odd, for some weird reason, I'm thinking old ladies taking their knee protectors off and slapping the hell out of people with their boobs.
Oh no!
No, it's worse than that.
Actually, no. I would say
At
it's
what
better
point
than
do we
that.
call boobs genitals?
Yes, I would
it's
say
worse than
it,
that.
I would say
that kind
it's
of thing.
better than that thing, Bo. Jay, do you have the one of the videos ready to go? Because I will go screen dark from the public so the stream doesn't get taken down, just so we could show Bo what it's actually about and we can hear his
Terrible.
reaction.
Hold on just a second.
And
I'm
up to
working
8
on that.
players can play it too.
Oh,
God.
and,
Jesus
and
Christ.
Burns, not just the fact that it can be
Er-
an 8-person multiplayer, it's cross-platform.
Ooh.
Should I not be
this
watching
where I
this on the
should,
computer in the living room?
Probably not.
Is this where I
Probably
should
not.
move away from the monitor and
No, not at all.
Bo, just sit back for a moment.
Who are we pinning again? Who are we pinning
Hold on, I
again?
have to go full screen for this, Jared, too.
Yep.
just
Oh
so you know.
yes, please do.
Like I said, the public is not going to be able to view this. If the public wants to find the game itself, it is on Steam. The name is Genital Jousting.
All right, are we ready?
well,
Yep.
Steam
Oh,
would be the
Well, it's okay.
appropriate platform, I guess.
Okay, here we go.
Sounds like it gets steamy.
Here we go. Jay's presenting.
Uh-huh.
Really?
What the? I gotta say, the little slug trails are what's doing it for me.
It's so great.
It looks like somebody is in dire need of a bath because that looks kind of slimy.
Oh no!
Oh, there's even a story mode to
Yes,
it now too.
There
There's no
is.
story
Like,
mode.
there's one with like where he does a thing with his butt. It's funny.
It's so stupid.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a long black one.
Yeah,
Nice.
the black one's in first place.
Oh, these guys are growers, not sure.
Right.
I'm a grower, not a shower, so hey, I know what that feels like.
I mean,
There you go.
it's
That's a
fantastic.
weird ass thing.
It's the human genital centipede.
Today
That's
I
all I
learned
gotta
from
say.
Oh no! I
See-
tried.
See,
Hey,
now,
I have a tough stomach when it comes to that kind of thing when I know it's fiction, but that movie when I started watching it, I turned it off because I was going, I don't think so. Click. Nope, that was not for me. I was actually starting to get nauseous with the human centipede. movie.
I've never
for some
seen the
weird
movie.
reason.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
It's
never
a,
bothered.
it
But-
is a really messed up thing, but yeah.
Have
So
you
what
have
is
you
it?
seen a certain
Podcast.
episode of South Park?
yeah.
An,
Oh, yeah.
an Apple episode?
Oh, that
Human
was funny.
centipede.
What were you trying to say there, Karis?
I said, when you have an ex like mine, the human centipede becomes that much more tolerable.
Let me dwell on that for a moment, please.
But and
All right.
to keep things a little more lighthearted, what does it say that when that game came across, the immediate thought was, "Oh, I think Coral and Karis would love this game."
You know what? Nothing brings more joy to my heart than knowing that I'm the first thing that comes to mind when you see genital jousting. Big win.
Oh, and Coral, I sent you a link to a video that got me a copyright claim that I think you guys will enjoy.
Oh.
It's about your favorite platform, Twitter.
Of course it is. I will definitely check it out.
I fucking hate Twitter.
I would
That's all
offer
I
to
gotta
play.
say.
I would offer to play it here, except we would run into the same thing where no one would be able to watch this after the fact.
I haven't been on Twitter for a month.
And you're feeling better about that, aren't you?
Damn it.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go for 2 months.
Oh, where's the thing?
I didn't even want to join Twitter in the first place.
Welcome to
I
the
didn't really
shit show, Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are times
I've-
that I go
Oh, damn
days without
Oh, no, I
interacting with it, and I plan on keeping that going for a while. Because it seems like the only thing I'm doing on there is pissing off certain people, and that's not inherently a bad thing, but I'm just getting tired of it.
I really do like Twitter. I mean, it can be frustrating, but there's a lot of different short conversations and snippets that you can really like. I don't know. I like fucking with people, so.
See, that's what it is. It is
That's fair.
it is the impish nature that keeps Twitter going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Twitter is
Right.
lawful evil.
And then there's the memes. I mean, really, where else would I get my really terrible punny memes?
Google.
Ginger.
See, I have art stuff, physics stuff, and then dicks on wheels.
hey Jared, I just sent you a picture that Bo sent me. Can we share this on screen?
Oh,
That
This is an actual
amazing.
thing. It's an actual thing. I think it was one of my
No.
my buddies who sent that one. You can actually buy that thing.
I've seen it before. Unfortunately, YouTube would not be happy for the same reason I had to black out the screen for what we just watched before.
All right, so Tech, how is Squadrons, and is it worth me paying for it?
Oh, it's fun.
Is that a yes or a no?
Right? Like, that's a partial answer. Hold on, blowing shit up.
Apparently, Scott Manley's just released a video on it.
Yeah, I just saw that 4 minutes ago.
So Icarus from the chat. I like fucking with people, so everyone on Twitter. Also Icarus. Twitter is toxic. Also everyone on Twitter.
Pretty much.
Hey, I wonder if Icarus could benefit from this mask I shared a photo of, maybe. I mean, fucking around and so on. you know?
Well, if you want to post a link to it in the live chat for people to go take a look at themselves, can't say I didn't warn you guys.
Twitter seems like genital jousting with extra steps.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, and Phoebe's getting it. Yeah, Phoebe's getting bruised everywhere.
Yep.
Hey, I will say this: it's not just Twitter. Facebook got really toxic too for me, especially last week.
Huh?
Oh,
Facebook.
Fa-
What is the
yeah.
thing you talk of?
Fa-
Facebook. What is that?
Facebook is as
Yeah.
toxic as Twitter, except everyone there thinks themselves an author and wants to write a mile-long thing every time they post in your
Oh.
comments.
No, that's all right. At least
I feel
you-
attacked.
I was attacked. I was called a war criminal because I was in the military.
Oh yeah. I've
Oh,
Oh,
had
that's just a
that.
day in
yeah.
the life of a veteran.
Haven't we all gotten that though?
Don't you
Yeah.
love people who say that though?
More or less, yeah.
That's when you just say,
Let's
just
see,
remember, people like
let's
me are
see
the
if
reason
I
why.
can- Let's see if I can remember this correctly. I was a transphobic war criminal that shouldn't have been on this trans group site anyway, because two of the mods were extremely left-leaning.
Right.
Do these
Yep,
people
yep.
not-
That checks out. Yeah,
Do these
sure.
people not realize that there are
And
people
I'm a
with-
racist. I'm a racist for
no, that was the other one.
yeah,
Yeah, that
as
was the
a-
other one. I
you
was
know,
racist too.
yeah, and I'm apparently racist for correcting someone's horrible grammar in jest. That I mean, you know, as a joke. That apparently makes me a racist.
Oh,
I
oh,
was
oh,
I'm a
Bo,
militant, actually, is what I was called for reading certain books.
Bo.
That's
Apparently,
right.
apparently, I was triggered and angry because I was laughing at a Russian expat who tried to say that the UK voted to leave Europe.
Hey, on that point, Jared.
Right.
Mine was the reason why I got called a transphobic war criminal racist was because one of the people was going, "Oh, the U.S. has caused hundreds and hundreds of war crimes." It's like citation needed. They leaked me a literally less than a paragraph article off Wikipedia.
I mean, to be
Roger
fair,
has a question.
Transsexual war criminals, is that a race?
That's the name of
It
a
sounded
band.
like one.
Right, it sounds like a really badass band,
That's-
by the way.
That's a metal band right there.
Like, that's fucking metal there.
Transsexual war criminals. Fuck yeah.
This needs to be a
Okay.
thing.
Uh-oh, I think we broke Bull.
All right, two things. All right, guys. Two things from the chat. One, heat shield. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I load up on Twitter. I say hello to Tory Bruno and Elon Musk every Christmas. They return the sentiment. We hang up. Oh, lucky you. And
Yeah, but that's
hang
because
on.
you're made of ablative shielding. That's
Part
not
two,
fair.
Part two. From Rodent No Last Name. I have a very serious question for all the vets. It's a big pool of speculation, but worries me. Go ahead with your question, Rodent. We will answer it to
I'm
the best
intrigued.
of our ability.
By the
But
way,
Jared, to that person's credit, though, I have heard your angry laugh, and it's terrifying.
Chelsea Manning is the first thing that comes up when I Google transsexual war criminals.
You know,
As
I
long as
mean-
you stay away from the knees.
you know.
I guess.
Technically no, but that's still funny.
What do you mean?
Hang
Vince?
on,
I'm
hang-
confused.
hang on. What was that you said, Karis? Because all I could hear was
Jackass.
What?
Oh, are you playing with those again? Should I whip out mine?
I don't have my microscope handy. I'm sorry about.
No, no.
Hold on, I have-
name,
Here, I
uh,
have the topic at hand that Rodent is talking
I am
about.
going to
Jared.
finish the sentence if that's the last thing you do, and I stay up from preparation. Rodent No Last Name says, "Ring my." Are you done? Can I
Yes,
talk
for now.
Assuming COVID doesn't solve the problem, if the election is close and Trump contests, if he tries to rally parts of the military to his side, what could happen? Best, mid, worst case scenarios.
The military commander's
Good
laughing
question.
at him.
Yeah.
That wouldn't. I don't think that would work.
No,
No, I mean, wouldn't it be every single, military person of whatever branch they are, wouldn't it be their responsibility to not act on an illegally issued order?
Well, I-
That would
That's
be
where-
for me.
Law of land warfare.
That's where the whole UCMJ's idea of a lawful order comes from. Like, it has to be something that you're allowed by constitutional law to do, and you don't even know what that law really is. But you're supposed
But,
to use your
one,
sense of right and wrong.
one part of that is
you don't know it,
if
but
the
you're
fucker
a-
doesn't turn over office, we drag his ass out.
Yeah. So
Yep.
the military is bound to uphold the Constitution and the
Yes.
government that's created by it. And so whatever goes down on paper, whoever's president on paper, the military has to follow that order.
And here's
Okay, so here's a follow-up question then. In the history of all U.S. presidents, has there ever been an incident where the what do you call it, the president that is no longer a president because somebody else has been voted in or been appointed president, been involved in some sort of argumentation or a fighting or whatever, or have they all left honorably?
the closest thing you're going to get to that is when Thomas Jefferson beat
Yeah.
John Adams. John
Yeah.
Adams basically did not do a peaceful turnover. He just left and did not return to DC at all.
Yeah.
he
There's
just
been
straight walked out.
no presidential hostilities. They've all turned over peacefully, even when people were saying there wouldn't be a peaceful turnover.
But
Ah,
even
so
like
that
the
is
one thing
a
that I
first for the orange then.
But the one that that comes to mind for me would be like Aaron Burr in Hamilton. And the only reason why he even because he was going to contest it, but then they offered him the vice presidency, so he took it.
Yeah, and Obama. I mean, he took all of our guns and established a one world order.
The Hamilton Burr thing's a little.
Thanks, Obama.
Hamilton and Burr. That's a great one. It has more to do with their personalities than it actually did with who did what. And the reason that we no longer have the second place person being the vice president is because of what happened with John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. So
Yeah,
there-
Makes
yeah.
sense.
So because basically Thomas Jefferson and John Adams are politically opposite in a lot of ways.
That's a mild way of putting it.
Right.
Mildly putting it. And the fact that they had to serve in the same administration, which got Hamilton fired out of the cabinet, because Adams was keeping most of the cabinet that Washington had kept until it came out about what Hamilton was doing on the side with a mistress and how he was having an affair. However, in his defense, he was basically being blackmailed to continue the affair with the other man's wife.
Huh? What?
Yeah, this is the thing that happens.
Such
This is the
simpler
thing that
times.
happens.
Right.
Hey, you've been sleeping
all
with my
I
wife.
have-
You can continue to sleep with her, but you just have to pay me money to keep me silent.
Blackmail.
And all,
Love
all
it.
destroy-
I have
Is
to,
it chucking it?
to
Is getting
work
money for it, or is that just
Hey,
Well, here's the thing: have any of you watched the musical Hamilton since it's been on Disney Plus?
No.
no.
No, I didn't
Okay,
know
nope.
it was on Disney Plus.
although
Okay, here's the thing.
musical is currently running in Denmark
Here's the thing:
physically, not just
is
the
they
video.
they tried to get as historically accurate as possible. They did take some liberties with things, but when it came to actual
accuracy cost.
records, Hamilton was keeping records of all the payments he made to this guy, because he knew eventually someday Jefferson and Burr were going to get a hold of this, and they were holding it over him when Washington was in office. He was trying to set up the Federal Reserve, and like, okay, here you go. What can we do to make this work? Well, he's like, okay, well, first of all, I'll let you guys put the capital wherever you want. So they decided to put it on the Potomac, but you have to let me have the bank. And then after that was settled, that's when they were starting to try and find more dirt. And then they got wind of this because he's been making payments, but they're like, oh, you're using taxpayer money. And he's like, no, actually, this is my own personal money. Here we go. Here's all my receipts. And it destroyed his marriage, obviously, to his wife. And they got back together because of the death of their son, who died in dueling a couple years before Hamilton did.
Nice cause of death.
Dueling.
Yeah, well,
That's
just
been a
remember,
while.
dueling wasn't allowed in New York, but it was allowed in New Jersey because everything's allowed in New Jersey. That's one of the famous lines from the movie.
I
Or from
feel
the
like dueling's
musical.
probably still allowed in New Jersey, like in some
I
law
wouldn't doubt
way
it.
back in the books.
Well,
Some basic level, there could be a place to have a duel. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I'm
Some
sure
line
that
of-
every single one of the 50 states have obscure, dumbass, weirdo laws that haven't been weeded out yet. Like
Yeah.
There
you're
was a
not
book.
allowed to
was a
cross the
book.
road while naked, for example. I think I've heard
There
that
was a
one
book.
once.
There was a book when I was growing up. It was called Donkeys Can't Sleep in Bathtubs and Other Crazy Laws. Yes, there's a place where it's illegal to have a donkey sleep in a bathtub
Oh,
in the United States.
Oh,
Ever
And where it is.
put that in the books?
Oh,
Like,
no, I got one.
seriously, I need
I
to
got
know
one for
more.
you. No. If you think that one's good, I got a better one for you. From Groton, Connecticut, of all places. Ducks must wear
Oh God!
pants.
Let me see if I
Kid
can
you
find
not,
it.
ducks must wear pants.
I was afraid you were going to say that you're not allowed to sleep with alligators or something. But yeah.
No, that's a Georgia law, so they could try to keep all the heathens in Florida.
I
So
was
the
gonna say
case-
that's just good. That's just good advice.
How did this fucking crazy law come to be? Who said there are no dumb laws? And so it's apparently in Arizona, a lovely state, certain counties and towns have passed stupid laws. Here are a few. Donkeys can't sleep in bathtubs. This law is based on the 1924 case
Dalek?
where a merchant's donkey started sleeping in an old bathtub that was
Oh
supposed to
God,
be filled
what are
with
you
drinking
doing
water.
with the history of the world, Jay?
Love it.
That's going to be part of the new intro, or at least pre my title screen intro.
The
or-
local dam broke a flooding suit, and the
Oh,
donkey was
politics,
washed away in the
politics,
tub.
politics.
Hold on, I'm trying to hear about the donkey.
Yes. So
Oh,
a
are you
donkey
getting
got
randy?
washed away. In the, yes. The tub. This is for Red's rhetoric, by the way. The tub and donkey survived the trip down the valley for a mile until the water receded. The law was passed because several of the townspeople signed a petition against such a thing after they had to wrestle the donkey and haul the merchant's ass back to his house. Sad to say, we don't have a picture of the donkey in the bathtub. We're going to help the needy rescue donkeys by adopting a donkey. And then I got the cute donkey. That's crazy.
Great.
Okay.
Coral, I sent you
that's
some
not a
advice
good
about
enough
donkeys,
reason,
by the way.
but All right.
On your Discord DMs.
What?
I sent Coral a Discord DM to give her advice about donkeys.
Thought you
Please,
said me.
please tell me it's not connected with Clerks too.
No, I'm not that cruel to her.
Okay, I gotta make sure. You can never tell
I
these
like
days.
Clerks. Clerks was awesome.
Clerks 2. Have you seen that one?
Have you seen two?
No,
The
you
one in
clearly
color.
haven't. You would know.
I
if you
think I
had.
did, but I erased it from my short and long term memory because I didn't. It was like no.
There's a 50-50 shot that that's true and that you haven't seen it because I'm pretty sure you'd either remember it, but there's also a good possibility that you just purged it.
Right. Because I watched a lot of. I was gonna say I've watched a lot of like Kevin Smith stuff, so I'm trying to think in my head. I know for sure I've seen the original Clerks. I want to say I saw Clerks too.
Was the original Clerk was in black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's good.
37
Oh.
in a row?
In a row?
Never mind. I'm just remembering that conversation.
It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Oh god, what's
13 or
this?
14.
Why do they call him Snowball?
Oh god.
Jared, was it 13?
Be right back, guys.
What was that?
Was it 13 or 14?
I can't remember now.
Okay.
Oh. Huh. That will be an interesting Babylon video to watch later. But let's actually get to one of the main topics now that all the players are here. The effectiveness of the shark attack. Oh, and not just the knife hands.
Oh, yes.
The full-on shark attack. And appropriate training method, or just an excuse for drill instructors to vent their frustrations in a way that doesn't involve directly assaulting a recruit?
Can't it be both?
I think I'll leave myself out of that discussion because that style of training or recruit beratement has never been used in this country. So
I'm assuming this is angled at me, Jared.
And Coral. And you two were the quite vocal when I initially posted it, so we can go ahead and pick up from there.
Would we call that vocal?
Well, I did talk to my husband about it. I tried to see if he'd come on and talk to you guys about it, but he's being very introverted right now. So, but I showed him the video and I said, "What are your thoughts on this?" And he said that when he was in, and he was a company commander for Cape May, which is like a drill instructor, and he did that for a few years. And he said even when he was there, they were trying to get rid of that type of thing while, like, when he was still there, they were trying to get rid of it because they didn't feel it was very effective. And Coast Guard boot camp is very mentally exhausting. And so they wanted to keep pushing the academic side of it, as well as, because what they like to do is they'll beat you and then you'd have to go learn something, and then they beat you again, and then you'd have to learn something, and then they beat you again, and then you'd have to learn something. So they found that was a really effective way to get people to be just exhausted physically and mentally. And it was a easy way to make sure that they had to be sure that they didn't have like people passing out, and that they were getting enough water and stuff like that, so that, recruits didn't die on them, which makes sense. So
we were forced to drink water when I was in basic. They just forced.
Yeah.
Water drills, fun times.
We had a guy pass out because he pissed out all of his electrolytes.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we had water drills, and then they had we did shave drills, and the girls would have to do hair drills. So everybody would break out their water bottles, and then they'd have us line up, and then they'd do the drill. The guys would have to shave really quickly, and then use the water in their water bottle to rinse off their shaver, and then you fill it back up, rinse it out, fill it back up, and drink. And then the females would have to really quickly put their hair up in, and it had to be within the standards for females. But I had cut my hair right before going to boot camp, so I had a dude cut. It was very, very short. So when it came time for us to do hair drills and shave drills, I was like,
What do I do?
because you don't want to bring attention to yourself. Like, that's the one thing you don't want. But I
Be
also didn't want to just
invisible.
be standing there and then get in trouble for not asking. So you're like shit, what do I do? So I had to raise my hand and respectfully request permission to know what I should do. And he's like, just stand there.
Just stand there. Just don't do anything. You're fine.
You're done. You're done. Just stand there. Stand by.
If I see you move an inch, you're going down. But like, I mean, that's just, kind of the thing. But, when we would go and do our workouts and stuff, it was the same thing. You work out, then you'd have to run up, get a full bottle of water, and drink the full bottle of water, and then run all the way back down. And you just wanted to puke it all up. Because, I mean, just running after drinking all that water does not feel good.
No.
I have a tendency to believe that most, if not all, regulations, safety regulations around firearms and, drills like that are centered around somebody fucking up.
Yeah.
In this case, by not drinking enough. But this could be counterproductive.
Well,
in my mind.
there is a very common rule of thumb in the U.S. military. All safety regulations are written in blood.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yep.
Because someone severely injured or killed themselves to spawn it. Now,
Right.
now as for the comparison to the Coast Guard manner of training, Navy boot camp was slightly different because we didn't generally have our intensive training sessions in the morning. They would actually send us to class first and then collectively adjust the training as necessary in the afternoon after the classes.
I know, in Orlando, we were kind of mixed.
No, Army
Well,
was first thing in the morning.
Wait. What is this? What is this? Hold on. Let me pin this.
Unless you're in a 900 division, then you're off playing instruments, doing flags, stuff like that.
How'd it go?
That's
So-
where I was.
Jared,
the
real
only-
quick, was that Great Mistakes or the
Yep.
other one? Because you were in before me.
No, when I was in, it was only Great Mistakes. They closed.
Yep. So all right. Yep.
Yeah, because they
Fucking solid.
closed Orlando.
Hey, I see it on the screen.
Last company went to Orlando in about 95, if I remember right.
Yeah, I was going to say mid-90s, and it was a couple years later they closed San Diego.
Yeah.
Because
I went to boot camp in 93, and I went to Orlando.
Oof.
So,
was,
am I
I can't
feeling
imagine.
US
I
Army
can't
here?
imagine. I can't imagine doing it here, man. In Florida, that would just be brutal.
In
It's
the
so
summer.
hot here.
In the
The
summer.
AIT in Florida sucks.
Yeah, I know.
oh,
Florida
David, I
sucks
was-
in the summer. I live in Florida.
Bull. When I
Sure, that night.
when I went through A school, it was in Pensacola for 7.5
too.
months. For seven
Hey,
and a half months.
Fort Sam Houston, Texas here.
Goose Creek, South Carolina.
In
I did basic
heat.
in South Carolina.
What's that?
So you
the
did
heat.
boot camp in the winter, then went to A
No,
school.
that was A school in Fort
Yeah, I
Sam
went-
Houston.
Yeah, I went. I was at NNPTC and then NNPTU, or NPTU.
I was
That
at,
place is
uh,
hot. That place
Huh.
is hot.
Yeah, a little.
I was at Fort Jackson for basic training it was like November to February, I want to say. And then I did 2 years at DLI in Monterey, and that was fucking amazing. And then I did AIT in Florida for 5 months at Pensacola in the winter, and that was fucking terrible.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I got to Pensacola in November. I left in June, July.
Well, you got the good half of the year then.
Yeah, but
I could
Yeah,
just
I mean,
have
it's
someone-
easy to
But-
get warm when it's cold,
That's
but
about what
the
I-
other way around,
But
nope.
we were already getting Black Flag days by 8:30 in the morning when I left.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that shit too. The worst part about it for me was like I think I got there in January, I want to say, but because the humidity is so terrible, when it actually gets cold, it got
It's
way colder
cold.
than anywhere else I've ever been. Like it's barely even freezing, and it felt way worse than places
It
that were
is
like
bone
8
chilling.
degrees.
It's
Yeah.
bone chilling here. It really is, because there's that humidity that's there in summer. It doesn't actually go away. It's very damp in winter here.
I
And
was
I
just-
hate this.
Okay.
Hypothermia is a kind of a big thing in hospitals at that point because people don't know how to dress.
So I was just thinking about the rules and all of that stuff. One of the things I remember distinctly happening when I was at boot camp is right before your graduation, they always would sit down every single company. My husband said every single company that comes through, you'd sit them down, you explain to them, you know, that you've already been training about, you know, doing your marching, getting information correctly, doing all of those things. But at the very, very end, you're going to be in parade rest for most of the time. And then during certain sections of the graduation, you have to go into and do attention, which is fine. But the problem is they had to always warn everybody. He says it never fails.
Don't lock your knees.
Every single time, at least one
Yeah.
person will lock their knees. So
And it was.
don't
I
do
hated
it.
that shit. I hated that. shit.
Every time. And to this day, every time at least one person would lock their knees and there would be one person going down.
We had lookouts for that too. We had lookouts when I did mine because
How
it was
hard-
it was getting through. All right. So when I went, I started in late winter, so February. When I got out, I got pushed back a week because I got sick during boot camp. So I got out early spring, and that was the exact same thing. Don't lock your knees. And we actually had dedicated people from our divisions sitting there trying to get ready to pull people out from doing it.
It happened every time.
How
Yeah, but-
freaking hard can it
that's
be
every
to
formation.
not put weight on your heels when standing at attention for a period of time?
We had a different way
I've
of
never done that.
encouraging people not to lock their knees during the whole pass and review thing, because see, after pass and review, you had weekend liberty. However,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
passed out during the pass and review,
Yeah,
you would be put
you're
you would
stuck.
be put on 48 hours bed rest.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh,
I
Oh,
experienced
shit.
being stuck at the infirmary over a weekend because I managed to dehydrate myself and collapse.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that sucked. And the worst part is the what is that magazine? Can't remember what it's called in English right now, but you know the old style funny cartoons of Rugrats and all that stuff.
Mad
They were
Magazine.
all
Like mad?
no, not Mad, but the other one with the military guys. I can't remember what it's called.
Are you talking about Beetle
call
Oh,
it
Bailey?
yeah, Beetle Bailey.
There
The
you
comics.
go, Beetle Barely. Yeah, they were all the magazines they had of those at the infirmary was from the 80s or something.
Oh my gosh,
so
how
annoying.
amazing.
I had read all of them 10 times during that
I-
weekend. That sucked. No television, no radio, just a bed and a
fucking
nicotine
magazines.
nicotine stained wall.
Oh no.
What the fuck I do? Oh, that was annoying. Oh yeah.
Well,
I did get get a wake up call. Yeah, both nights at let's see, probably around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 2:15 a.m., 2:30 a.m., 2:32 a.m., and so on and so on, by M109s doing target practice. Oh yeah, that was just lovely.
Oh, that's kind of like the 2:30 a.m. Wake up calls that I used to get in Oceana, in Virginia. The fucking F-14s deciding to do high-speed, low turns right over the other squadron's barracks. It's like, you motherfuckers!
I would have slept through that, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not exactly at the same volume noise level as floggers or MiG-29s, but yeah, I can imagine they're pretty loud.
Well. To be fair, I was stationed at Virginia for my final duty station, and the sub pier was right in line with the flight line. The sub pier was 100% in line with that. So every time a carrier came in, you'd have the line of F-18s coming in, you'd have the line of the E-2 and C-2 come in, and then you'd have everything else come in. And occasionally, because we also shared our fucking runway with the Air Force, sorry for any Air Force people in there, we'd have the F-22s fly over.
Wait.
And F-22s are fucking loud at slow speed.
I lived on.
Sounds like Colorado.
Base
I was going
for
to say
3
this
years.
sounds like Colorado Springs, the place
Yeah.
I grew up. This is like the Air Force graduations.
Oh god,
well,
dude, that was terrible.
Well, hang on.
The one cool part about living there though was I did get to see Air Force One fly in one time. That was cool.
Yeah, I was
Other than that, living on actual Peterson was probably one of the dumbest decisions I ever made because there was no point in like Reveille playing in the morning. It was like you were already up because there was already.
If you miss Reveille, you were fucking
Wait.
trashed, basically.
Well, yeah.
Nikki, which base?
No,
was it?
I'm saying that they would already have like planes flying out way before then. So
it's
you were-
constant traffic. It's constant traffic. It's an airport for all intents and purposes. It was that's why the Colorado Springs Airport is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I was going to
But
say.
the noise
you wanna
levels
see-
kept
you wanna see-
changing enough so that you couldn't get used to it, right?
Yeah, well, you want to hear high tempo, high flight volume. Hickam.
I believe it.
Pearl Harbor, because it's not just the Air Force Base, it's also now part of the Marine Corps Air Station, and it's also the runway for the civilian airport, which is an international airport.
Oh my god, that's worse. That's worse because
Yay.
I think the worst we got there in Virginia was when we had two carriers coming in at the same time,
Which base?
which was very rare. But we had up to two carriers coming in at one time, and it was all day thing.
Which base was this at?
He's Norfolk.
Norfolk.
Oh, no fuck.
Yeah, or were military careers going to die?
Then we had NORAD there for a while.
Let me help you learn how to pronounce the name of the base right there.
It's
Okay.
no fuck.
Yeah. I was saying there's a saying for it. The women there, they don't drink, they don't smoke, Norfolk.
Yeah, there's a reason why when my orders towards the end of A school came in, and I saw that I was staying in Florida with only a short stop in Oceana, I rejoiced. Because I did not want to go to that area at all if I could avoid.
I chose that area.
Yeah, but you're from that area.
Exactly.
That would be like if I went subfleet and I requested Groton.
Oh God, please no. Groton's the worst one.
Well, I lived in Connecticut for the better part of 13 years. My dad
It
finished.
could be worse. You could have been stationed at Kings Bay.
See?
Oh,
See? There are worse places to be for the subfleet.
One of the guys in my AIT graduating class got stationed somehow at Fort Hood, and when we were all receiving our orders, like the sergeant's reading them out, like, hey, you got Buckley, and you got this, and you got that. Everyone was going to like intelligence hubs and shit because that was our MOS. This guy got Fort Hood, and the sergeant looks over at him as soon as he reads it and was like, "Who did you piss off?" Yeah, but that guy was a complete moron, and he shouldn't have been there anyways. So yeah, that was exactly where he'd be the most useful, as like a gate guard or something like that.
So it made the most sense.
They reclass your MOS at that point. They give you a different job, and it's not a fun job.
Oh, that's what I find.
This guy wasn't smart enough.
Well, that's what I find hilarious. My former sister-in-law, in her first year and a half in the Army, she had 4 different MOSs.
Wait, whoa. Year and a half?
Yes.
How do you fuck up that bad? Like that bad?
It wasn't
Not
so...
the most popular person, then.
It wasn't so much that she fucked up. What it was she decided to marry a battle buddy after basic training, and they were both stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Golf clap, golf clap, golf.
We had one of those.
Now, granted,
We had a.
they have stayed.
We had 2 soulmates in basic training.
Yeah, well, they've stayed married. They have a great relationship. I give them props for it. It's just not the situation that most people would expect. But because of that, because they didn't want to spend the extra money to ship her somewhere else, to station her at a different base, they're just like, okay, well, what command can we put you in, and what job couldn't we put you in with the least amount of cost? And yeah.
That is such a waste. I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ, that's terrible. Because each one of those transfers costs money.
Even if it's just a paper transfer too.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. Yeah, no, we had a we had 2 soulmates at basic training, and the ending of that story is really interesting because we had Christmas block leave. He got home on block leave, went and bought a plane ticket, went and found her on block leave. They hung out, decided they were getting married, and then she got pregnant. And then the worst part about it is they didn't tell anyone, and then got back and people found out, and then the command team found out. Like, you guys really fucked up.
Wrong way
and then
to do it.
By the end of basic training, they were broken up, and he went off to some other fucking base. It was.
It would be easy for him to keep that stuff secret, but for her,
dude, I don't know.
You have to be a certain special stupid if you think you can pull off hiding that.
Well, so
that's pretty much the exact story I told at the beginning. Like, that's pretty much what this girl was doing out there, yelling out. You can't keep that a secret.
Well, so here's the thing, though. They might have been able to get away with it had she not gotten knocked up. But also at the same time, I'm surprised they didn't actually try to do an Article 15, because that's fraternization, and that ain't allowed in a training command.
And that's exactly right. I had a buddy get in trouble for that, for going to the Coast Guard station when he was in the Navy. Because the Coast Guard station was full of officer women.
You mean when I fraternized with my... Oh.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, I married someone who was on the same boat as me, so but in order to do that, I ended up I had to find my own replacement because my my rate was very specialized. I worked on the large weapon systems. And so, because they had already put so much money into that, they wanted to make sure that I was going to be stationed with the large weapon systems, which makes sense, and that's what I loved working on anyways. So I wanted to be on the boats. I wanted to be underway and stuff like that. And the only other option that I would have had would be to work on one of the like tech jobs or whatever that was on base. That was normally the Navy guys would come in and help with like the 62 and stuff. But it was like, because of my specialized training, and then because of my my husband's training, he's an ET. So they were like, we don't have any place to put you. So they're like, sorry, you guys can't date, you guys can't get married. Which was driving me crazy, because someone earlier had, without telling anybody, started fucking one of the chefs and got pregnant, and they immediately had to give her shore duty. And I did everything right, told them that, you know, we were thinking about dating and that we're doing everything right. And they're like, well, you can't date. You can't date under the same command, otherwise you'll get in trouble for fraternization. And I said, I know, that's why we're coming to you. We want to tell you that we would like to date. We'd like to get married.
This is a thing. What do we need to do to not piss you off?
Right. So I'm like, so we're saying what is our next step? And there's literally nothing you can do at this point. So we had to wait until we got in port to try to pursue it further. And the only billets that they had available was up in Alaska. They were going to ship me up to Alaska. I was stationed in Alameda at the time. And they wanted to put me up in Dutch Harbor in Kodiak. I was like,
hey, beautiful scenery.
Oh, it's beautiful there. I mean, when you're stationed in California, you go up to Alaska. And then when you're in Alaska, you go down to California and Hawaii.
So there is a question for you in the chat, Coral, from LRJ88.
Okay.
Huh. So a size queen.
Absolutely. Come on. So I like all sizes. I like the small guns. I like the big guns. But the bigger the better for guns.
Every size has its purpose and its use.
Absolutely.
If I had a choice, it would be a 40 Mike Chinga. But we unfortunately don't have those here.
Oh. Never
What?
mind.
What was that?
There's a
Karis?
beautiful. Okay, so we had a 50 cal sniper rifle that we could use for the helo runs and stuff. It's a beautiful gun.
BMG.
Oh, I want one of them.
Yeah, taller than an average male adult. If you stand it up,
That's a gorgeous gun.
I
Kicks
got
like
my
a
eye
mule.
on one at a JBLM PX right now for about $8,000. Now I
We
just
used to
need
hear him.
$8,000.
We used to hear him testing the Vulcans down on Fort Carson in Colorado Springs all the time. Those are pretty freaking zippy little bastards, aren't they?
Yeah, they sound fun. I love it. We call them the Sea Whiz. But yeah, so what ended up happening is I went and I started talking to the other boats that were stationed in Alameda as well. And I asked if anyone had any females, because that was the other thing. Because I was a female and they had birthing for a female, that they wanted it to be a female gunner's mate who did big guns.
Really
niche.
Try to slim those pickings.
Drive it home.
Right. I was like, so they were like, unless you find someone that to swap billets with you, there's nothing we can do for you. And I'm like, but some chick gets pregnant, gets knocked up, you're going to send her to the freaking shore duty. But if I do everything I'm supposed to do, you're just like, sorry.
That's how it goes, dude.
That's how it goes. I was like, fine, I'll do it myself. So I found a chick to switch with me.
It sounds like you have experience doing that.
What's that?
Sounds like you have experience with that.
Absolutely. Come on. This is me we're talking about, okay? And so yeah, she actually, and so I found another female who had big gun experience and was willing to she was on one of the other 378s, so we were able to basically swap billets. It was perfect. And so we ended up moving, and then it was like the first 2 years of our marriage, we saw each other 8 months out of that time.
Sounds about right for both being on separate ships.
Yep. We were 2 ships passing in the night. We saw each other like maybe maximum like a week at a time. Like it was like a day here and then somebody was leaving. Yeah, it was messed up. So took forever. But yeah, we had at that time, from the time that we like started talking to the time that we got engaged, it was 4 months. And then we were married 2 months later. So within 6 months, we were married. Because basically that was the only way. Otherwise, they would not let us switch billets or anything. Like, well, if we...
They did this to accommodate your marriage, basically.
Yeah, basically they said like we couldn't date or anything while we were on the boat. So basically it was like, well, if you want to date, then it better be for forever because this is all we're gonna do. And so literally that was our choice. It was go to Alaska or marry the guy. So I said, okay, fuck it, let's get married.
Military marriages.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason they call DLI the Desperate Love Institute, because you're there for 2 years, so you might want to just marry someone so you can move off post.
I mean, 16 years later, so...
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, sometimes it works, and then sometimes you have people who are in A school in northern Florida and decide to marry the stripper that they took home within a couple nights before.
Oh, some of the irresponsibility during...
Hey, strippers gotta make money.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's an honest job.
Come on.
Oh,
no, I got no problem with strippers. I don't have a problem with strippers. I have
Well,
a
that's a
problem
good
with
thing.
people who get drunk enough because they have no clue what they're doing with alcohol because it's their first time away from mommy and daddy's influence, and they're getting a little bit of freedom.
Oh yeah.
And they end up back in the barracks. They end up back in the barracks, right?
Well, hey,
and
truth
there
be
the guy
told-
turned on his side in the shower because he's throwing up, and you don't want to smell it all night. That's literally.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing, because of how long my tech school was, because of how long my A school was, we were one of the few schools that actually allowed married people to relocate their family down to the area.
Huh.
Because it was a 7-month-long A school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fort Sam Houston had a lot of that too, because a lot of people there, like if you were picked a nurse, an actual nurse is there because they have to become an LPN basically to be a nurse. So they have a very low level enlisted grade nurse basically, but still a nurse. And they learn quite a bit, and they stayed there a whole year to become that LPN.
All right.
So your longer training stations like that will allow people who are married to live off base because they're there long enough to warrant the BAH for the area. So think about
Hold on. We got some really cool trivia coming on. Rodent said, nice, you're stationed at Alameda. I was on an episode of Mythbusters filmed at Mare Island. All right, we need to know which one. I've seen every single episode. So
Well, anyone who hasn't is a dick.
Right?
Right?
Weren't
Yeah, I learned
Plus
I'm
the extras.
wasn't like 80% of their outdoor experiments in the first 3 seasons all filmed on Alameda?
Yeah, well, more than that. But yeah, most of their
All the
stuff was
non-explosive,
filmed
all the non-explosive ones. The explosive ones, they had to go out into the desert.
out there.
Right. And blow up cement trucks. That was
Yes,
epic.
and they actually had a thing in
while
the news.
forgetting to hit the high speed. Yeah.
They actually had a thing in the news too that they had while they were filming one of their experiments.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody
cannonballing
didn't do
first.
the thing, and the cannonball went through one of the houses.
Well, yeah, and as I recall, it was a complete fluke accident. They had no clue that would even be possible. I mean, it was so
Part
freakish.
of the course for MythBusters, though.
Yeah, but hey, I love the the news segment I saw about the incident. You just saw a perfect hole in a wall, drywall or whatever it is, and the ceiling. It was great.
It was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. So, but yeah, I like being out there. Although Alameda is funny because it's like everything there is super, 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 super expensive. So,
Well, yeah, Bay Area, California.
yeah. But we're talking like the
Yep.
houses are super tiny. And so you can even consider getting that for BH. So you always ended up having, we were all over in like the Santa Rosa area because it's cheaper out there or over in Oakland. And nobody wants to live in Oakland.
Even the people who live there now don't want to.
Right.
There was some
Did
pretty
you at least
seedy-
get something good out of Oakland, California? You know, like
was
Toto, for example.
No, well,
Did
I
they
was
come out
the-
of there?
I was going to say that Nerdrotic left that area and actually relocated recently. Yeah, the YouTube channel Nerdrotic, main guy Jeffrey who runs that used to live in the San Francisco area.
Oh, I
He
thought you
moved.
meant Nerd Rage.
No,
Who is that guy?
Nerdrotic.
Nerdrotic.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Rodent No Last Name said, I'm on the last season Zombie Axe versus Gun Revisit episode. All right. I know exactly which one it is. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sad that they
Oh.
didn't continue doing the down the rabbit hole thing.
Okay.
I mean,
so,
it could have been better, but
all right, so we have a question from Ugly German Truths, formerly known as Pheno. Was Alameda also the one where Top Gun is, or just the Star Trek IV one with the nuclear ships? It was Star Trek IV went to Alameda Naval Base, and it was not actual nuke-powered ships. That was actually the USS Ranger redressed as the USS Enterprise for that movie. Now, Top Gun...
Enterprise was at
funny.
the scene at the time, yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Top Gun, the on-base, onshore stuff was actually filmed down south at Miramar, outside of Los Angeles. Because that used to be a naval air station, now it's a Marine Corps air station. That's where the Top Gun school used to be located. Now it's in Fallon, in the middle of nowhere in California. But in that movie, yet again, you have the USS Enterprise being played by the USS Ranger.
That's hysterical.
Yep, twice. They
That's
wanted
not fair now.
Yeah,
I gotta go back
And
and
the-
watch those 2 movies.
and the control tower they buzzed, that Maverick buzzed apparently, is at Fallon. I guess that's an Air Force base. Air Force base,
No,
if I could speak.
Naval Air Station, Fallon.
Naval Air Station, yeah.
Yeah, I now got to go back and watch those 2 movies, Jared. Thanks for that, because I personally have seen the Enterprise up close.
Yeah, there were a couple I think there were a couple shots at the beginning of Top Gun that may have been stock footage of the Enterprise, but the actual onboard footage, it was the Ranger.
Whistles. Yeah, I was gonna say that there's the only cool movie trivia that I have for the Coast Guard was we were actually there. Our boat was used for yours, mine, and ours. So that had Dennis Quaid and the guy who plays Zed. I can never remember his name. Rip Torn.
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. Yeah. So they're in it. So we filmed a lot of the underway scenes, and then we actually had to like do a fresh paint all over the ship right before they started filming, which was terrible. Was somebody because it wasn't like one of those dry docks, moments where you can get like a really nice. No, you could see the line. It was awful. And they basically, the areas that they knew that was going to be filmed, they painted those major areas to make sure it was, white and all of that jazz. And there's actually scenes where they have the boat moored up on the dock, and Dennis Quaid is coming in, and they're actually filming them while they're walking up, and you can see them kind of give you that frame. And so I actually am one of the extras going across the flight deck at the time.
Yeah, and I mix it up. Fallon is the training base in Nevada, and Lemoore is the one in California that everything relocated to. Right outside of San Jose, if a 45-minute drive is right outside by your measure.
San Jose is awesome.
How about the most famous Navy ship in a movie, the USS Dallas?
Oh, you mean the one that my
That
dad...
is the most.
Hang on, you mean the one that my dad transferred to right after filming stopped?
Of which movie, though? Who's been in two?
Red October.
Nice.
Nice.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, and yes, you corrected yourself, Eno. It was the Nimitz in Final Countdown.
Yeah. And that was actually the Nimitz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was Final Countdown the one where the stereo went back in time?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that one. I remember that one now.
And there was some kind of stupid thing they had to do back there to get back, and they got back.
Well, no, they never really did anything stupid to get back. They did. They just were sent. They just basically. It basically just happened. It wasn't anything. They were about ready to basically,
well, here's
rape the Japanese Navy.
Well, and so here's the thing.
That was an understatement.
Because of that coming up, recently, someone mentioning it to Blinkoff, the YouTuber Blinkoff actually did an alternate history thing of what if a Nimitz-class carrier and Air Wing went back in time to pre-Pearl Harbor, what effect would it have? And short of the resupply issues, Japan was fucked.
I was gonna say.
That was one of my favorite scenes in any movie, though, was the F-14 Tomcats against the Japanese Zeros.
Good old VF-84, back when they were still the Jolly Rogers. What did they use for the Russian subs in Hunt for Red October? Models.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Models of a cooler class. Yeah.
That's
All it was.
And that's the thing, is they actually built scale models for the Russian boats and used them. They also built a scale model of the Dallas for the external underwater shots there too.
Well, yeah, they
That's
have
awesome.
to. That's the only way they can film it. In a darkly lit room filled with fog. It's the only way you can simulate that kind of stuff.
But
It's
the interior shots of the Red October, I believe it was a sound stage that they built.
It was a
Because
set,
Yeah.
dude.
yeah, I mean
Russia
that
wasn't playing
con
along.
looked
Would have been same
huge.
for the Dallas too, because I tell you that was not the inside of Los Angeles. Classic.
Yeah, that was not the inside of Los Angeles. That was a set.
Yeah, they had a little too much room.
Mhm.
You don't see people
little.
you don't see people getting up and running around that fast on those things.
Look, sonar. There's 2 people in there.
Why?
When has there ever been 2 people in sonar?
Seems like the kind of thing that wouldn't require
Training.
but one person.
No, qualification training. I think that's about it.
No.
Not even then.
No. Typically, there's going to be at least 4, maybe 5.
Oh wow. Mm.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
You're gonna have one guy on narrowband. You're gonna have another guy on broadband. You're gonna have a supervisor in there. You might even have 2 narrowbands. I mean,
That passive sonar stuff is
No,
technical stuff.
because on the Eisenhower we had 2 guys consistently in sonar. One to listen, one to supervise.
Yeah, but that was a surface ship. Sonar is a little more critical on a boat.
Well, I mean, but
A little bit.
you call the Eisenhower. Oh wait, you call that a surface ship? Yeah. Okay.
All right. So on a surface ship, you may have 2 different types of sonars. On a sub, we have up to 4.
You just think of what you would do today in a U.S. sub on the sonar without having computers help you out. That would be a literal nightmare
No,
these
it-
days.
The
I
amount of information that a current sonar collects. I mean, so you're a ham radio operator, and you know this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like trying to listen. It's like trying to listen to PSK 31 on packet wrap.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, or even worse,
Just call me
trying
out
trying to point out if you can hear a whisper signal.
I was an
But what I'm
FT.
thinking is, I do believe they have what do you call them? Arrays. Not microphone. Why can't I remember what they're
Hydrophones.
called right now?
And
Yeah,
so,
hydrophone arrays that instantly, identify the direction.
The direct,
Just that simple thing.
the direction.
If you only had a wheel to turn, to direct your hydrophone sweeping for sounds, you could easily miss a signal.
trust me, though, if my 40-meter antenna can turn because I turn a knob, they've got that on a Navy ship. Trust me, they've got that somewhere on a boat.
Well, hang on.
Yeah, I
though.
know.
Hang
I was
on.
thinking
The
if
topic-
they didn't have that stuff.
The topic, and even then, the topic was submerged sonar systems. And here's the thing, Bo. Take the computer out of it, a good sonar tech can actually still do the identification. Because
Mhm.
Jive...
That's what they
yeah,
do not do. They do they do not have computer assisted identification, Bo.
Yeah, and a great example of this, a great channel to go to and watch some of...
Jive.
Yes,
Yep.
Jive Turkey is
Yep.
amazing at that shit.
Yeah, I've looked
was
a lot
another
of watched a lot of his videos. Yeah.
That was another thing I laughed at in Hunt for Red October when they had the printout that look here, prints out what the code is.
Right? That was so.
That was
fucking
hilarious.
good.
Oh yeah, that by the way, that reminds me of an awesome, although French-speaking movie. It was a French movie on Netflix about a French submarine crew that damn near started World War III. I think it's actually awesome. It was they focus on the sonar operator. It's really good, actually. I'm trying to find out what it's called.
I currently have a Netflix subscription. I have a Haley subscription simply because, the Maiden, whatever it is, the Handmaid's Tale is a thing that I like to watch. I have Disney Plus because I'm looking forward to the next year of The Mandalorian coming out in October. Hey, how about that?
You wish we're getting requests for you to remove the potato from between you and the phone?
Right.
I'm having a hard time trying to hear
It's
it.
like you got a silencer on your microphone.
Either that or a cock in your mouth.
No. Tell your wife to take the pillow off your face. It's not working.
Tell her to dismount, dude. I mean, you can't talk through that.
So hard. Trying so hard.
Yeah. Her muffler is effective as a muffler. Her muffler is good as a muffler. That's right.
Switch your phone. Switch your phone.
I'm sorry. I couldn't tell what the hell was being said.
I was trying so hard to hear him.
Well,
And
I gotta
trying not
hand
to
it
be
to you,
the asshole
man.
this
That
time.
kind of translation you were doing was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Bo does speak potato, so.
Yeah. Well, I do speak, just a few more languages than you're able to. Most Americans, anyway.
Pretty much, yes.
I didn't know.
We do not deny
I
that.
barely know English.
2 1/4.
Although I
Right.
would like to know to learn how to speak Spanish, but that's a different thing.
Just
Barely have a
little bit
first
of
language with
Spanish.
some of these people
You can
here.
do Spanglish.
Yeah.
That wasn't a horrible Adam Sandler movie.
That was bad.
Jared, did you like the link I shared to you?
You have the wrong face there, though. I think you have one particularly in stock that you could easily put over Mel Brooks, and then it'll be perfect.
That would be
I
funny.
could, and I probably will layer that in. This was just really quick because I had to get it onto Twitter. And the file was too big, but I have uploaded it to Giphy, so.
The file was too big. Something tells me you're not used to hearing that.
Hey, I hear it all the time. What are you talking about?
Brace it.
Liar. Oh, yeah. I found the title of the movie I was talking about. The Wolf's Call on Netflix. It's a Netflix film, too. It's really good.
You mean Netflix didn't screw something up this time?
Yeah.
Netflix screws
Well, apart
everything
from
up all the time.
this stupid French crew talking French all the time. Annoying. But no. I mean, French. I do not know how. I don't speak French, and I am damn never going to learn.
No, Bo. Think. Well, why would anyone want to learn the language of surrender?
Oui, monsieur.
Merde. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it may be the language of surrender, but they're the only other country that operates a nuclear-powered carrier.
Without French, you would not have words like filet mignon. It would be filet mignon.
You know what?
And it would still taste fucking. And it would still taste fucking amazing. And I will take Kobe beef any day.
Hey, but you forgot
but
one
then
more.
you go
forgot
into
one.
the area of eating frog legs.
You forgot entrepreneur.
Escargot, anyone? I've had it.
France is the second largest navy with nuclear carriers.
Oh.
They have what? One?
It's cute.
Two?
Yeah, they have
They have
one.
one. They have one. We have 10.
They're also last, but you know.
It's cute.
That's
It's so
funny.
cute.
Oh,
Well, they always said
to be fair,
second place
nobody
was the
else on
first
planet
loser.
ranks.
Well,
So-
no. They're going by the Ricky Bobby mentality. If you're not first, you're last.
Like I said,
It
second
worked.
place is the first loser.
So would that be the Navy, as far as Air Forces go?
The Navy would be the winner.
U.S. Navy
There's
first.
the Air Force,
French
and then
Navy's
there's
second,
the Navy, and then there's
everybody
some
else
other-
is dying.
No. I'm sorry. No. The Air Force has nicer toys. The Navy has better pilots.
Yeah, I'll grant the Navy that. You're talking about people that freaking land jet planes on the decks of ships.
Yeah, but the Air Force still has the best.
They land
golf
on a
course.
runway that's moving away from them, slightly to the left.
Is it moving slightly away to them, away from them to the left?
It's pitching,
also
it's rolling.
on 3 different freaking axes.
And it's essentially the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah, when you
See, because anyone can land on a mile-long runway that's just right there in the middle of a location. Try doing that on 500 to 600 feet of moving steel.
I wasn't even going to give them that much. I was going to say 300
Full
AT2.
throttle.
Hey, you don't have to convince me.
it's closer. Yeah, Jared, it's closer to 300 feet because you have to catch a cable within the first 75.
Yep. Yep. You got a hook to stop your ass.
Number
If you
3.
don't catch, you got to throttle
You're a
back
boxer.
up and try again.
Well, hopefully not throttle back up again. It would still be throttle.
They have to catch.
Well, hang on.
Yeah, they have 75.
Hang on. Let's see if you wished remembers this. Stern to bow. How long is a Nimitz class carrier?
On the Eisenhower, 1,800 or 1,081
1080.
feet. 1,080.
Yeah.
1,081 on the Eisenhower.
And where does the angled deck end?
At 540.
So 500 to 600 feet. That is your landing area.
You have 500 feet because before trap number 1 is 40 feet from the bow or from the stern, from the fantail to hook number 1 to wire number 1 is 40 feet.
I quite recently I saw a video, an old video of an E2 Hawkeye, the mini AWACS, catching the third wire perfectly, but the wire snapped off.
Yep.
It looked like the pilots got wet feet right before they gained positive lift again. That must have been gnarly. With your hands on the eject handle.
Dude,
can't.
that is a pucker factor of at least 15 out of 10.
Right.
I was going to say over 9,000.
No, that's an immediate evacuation. That's not. There's no pucker factor to that.
That's just foul evacuation. Yeah.
That landing distance, though, that's more than the length of my boat. So
That's what I'm trying to say. You done broke your pucker and it's coming through.
Wait, how long was that landing distance?
No, because
how long was that landing distance? I'm trying to work on Jared's recommendation.
you say 500 to 600 feet.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It's
Okay,
500.
so 500 feet, so it's just slightly smaller than the length of my boat.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot longer than any of the fast attacks. So.
Hey, just because I got to go on a cruise
300
ship
About
compared to you guys.
361 feet here. So.
All right. So ugly German Truce asks, don't they have 4 cables? Shouldn't that prevent something like that?
Mm-hmm.
The older carriers, the Nimitz class, have 4 arresting cables. Number 3 is considered a perfect trap because your hook is actually landing between 2 and 3, which is in the middle of that target area.
Yep.
Your Ford class, and I want to say they started it actually on the Reagan. They only have 3 arresting cables.
Oh, the Reagan has 4. The Reagan has 4.
And then it was the Bush.
The
They
Reagan
started with 3.
And
Ford-
also,
Ford is in debate. The Ford is currently in debate about moving up to 4 to equal with the Nimitz class because the flight deck is a little bit longer, and therefore your distance from fantail to waist cats is longer.
Yeah,
So
but
they're debating about going to number 4. But with the advent of the F-35 Lightning and its VTOL capability,
Well, you're only talking about one model, though. You're not talking.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one model of the F-35 that's VTOL capable,
yeah, the B model,
and that's the
which
Marine
is,
one.
yeah, the
the
Marine Corps.
F-35C is going to be the one that is going to be Navy and Marine Corps capable.
And the B is Marine Corps only. The B is the one with the VTOL capability. The C is just a beefed up version for the full carrier.
C is the one that's basically replacing the regular
The Legacy Hornet.
Hornets.
Yeah. The C is the one that's got the bigger, fatter wings and the heavier duty landing gear.
Yeah. But it will have limited VTOL capability. It will still have the maneuver.
Not from what I've seen.
And we'll have that.
Only the B. Only the B has been designed with the VTOL capability.
The C
Yeah,
has
because
been
right now this thing's running way over budget, and it's because of the Marine variant.
Yeah, let's blame the Marines. I like this.
Okay. Well, here's the thing: is it
has nothing to do with the $400 million helmet.
No, it actually has something to do with the engine.
Yeah, the C will have the capability of being VTOL, but not true VTOL. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying, is that it will have the maneuverable.
Stovall is probably what you're looking for.
Well, yes,
It's a goddamn waste of money, but fuck, is it pretty?
They are. The B is the Stovall variant. The B is the one with the additional nozzles. But here's the thing: all variants of the F-35 are getting a limited thrust vectoring for in-flight maneuverability. That's part of it.
Which in emergency situations,
Because I mean, you might as well say that the F-22 has Stovall capability, but it don't.
it has short takeoff and vertical landing. Yes, it does.
The B
does.
The
B
B
does,
does.
yeah.
The C does not have true VTOL capability.
Yes, and it is the C model that will be on the Nimitz and Ford class carriers.
Yes. Okay, but the C will have a limited ability to emergency land on a short deck.
Isn't there also something about that plane similar to the? Oh crap! Now I forget shit again. The British VTOL plane. What's it called?
The Harrier.
There you go. Yeah, the Harrier has a limited available amount of coolant to be able to hover. I do believe the F-22 has that issue as well.
The F-22 can't. The F-22 is a regular fighter.
To be fair, the Harrier can hover. It's just most of the time it actually can't.
Yeah.
Well, not at the beginning because it's too heavy with a full
its
tank.
typical loadout is much heavier than what it can actually hover with. So
That and it can, in theory, fly backwards too.
Yeah.
Well, take that back. Float backwards.
Part of the problem with the Harrier is that the heat from the thrust vectoring jets coming back into the engine
it's gone.
cause a short.
Oh, that was a huge fucker. That would have been a fucker factor right there.
Oh yeah,
that's insane, guys.
We need an air crew.
think
When they
that,
get on the deck, they're going to need an air crew in there to clean the seats.
And then you see all those people standing on the deck. Those are the people you're talking to right now. So, seriously.
I mean, I still think that the the successful but not viable on the long term. Tests with landing and taking off with the C-130 on a hangar.
Carrier.
That would have been awesome if they eventually made that work well enough to actually make it a thing.
Real quick, fact chart. That's why I restated that and said float backwards.
What the hell?
Again, the problem with the Harrier is that the heat return from the vectoring jets going back into the engine intake, the primary engine intake, caused the engines to blow out. Okay. So that it suddenly loses all engine capability, meaning all thrust vectoring, all thrust everything, and the plane is therefore fucked at about 20 feet. It has no choice but to come immediately straight down. That's the problem with the AVAB. The F-35...
Well, you also have age of the airframe as an issue, too.
But
the only heat on the F-35 comes out the back end.
That is not a problem because there's this cooling fan that has an opening up front right immediately behind the pilot seat that is a fan engaged to the turbo shaft of the turbofan that drives this plane.
Yeah, it's not an exhaust like on the Harrier's front. Vector.
No.
No, it's a ducted fan right behind the cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found the relevant tidbit on the Harrier. It uses water to cool the engines down somehow, but it only has enough cool water for cooling for about 90 seconds of hovering. Although that was from Reddit, but
it's also one of the reasons why. Have you ever noticed, like, when a Harrier jump jet is landing vertically, like on one of the
it's
helicopter
pissing
carriers?
itself.
Well, they also, you notice they come down beside the craft and then
drift over and then cut the
over
engines.
and then land. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's normal. That's the way you land a helicopter on a deck.
I'm saying that's why they do it, because they're not staying that close to the ground or the surface in this case.
Well,
it's also probably a lot easier for the pilots.
Well,
and
not
safer.
just that. You also have this is, in addition to everything with that, is you have the similar training platform in the Pathway, but what does the Harrier also need in order to stay in that mode of flight? It still needs air going into the intake. Over ground or at sea, no matter what, its nose still needs to maintain being pointed into the wind. Yeah. That's why at ground stations they can only do the vertical landing in certain directions because they still need the wind blowing into the intake.
So they are
as far as I
literally
know, the
on the
F-35 does
limit.
not have that problem.
Correct.
why
The
you're going to
F-35 does not because of the ducted fan behind the cockpit on the B model.
Which is why you're going to see this. This is why you're going to see the extension of the life of the Carrier, Eisenhower, and Truman to beyond their current lifespan, is because they're the only ones with flight deck cooling. Because those fan jets on the back end of those F-35s are going to create a heck of a problem when landing. Marine and Navy variants that have to land on the back on their reserve jets or on their vectoring jets.
That was actually part of the issue they were having with the F-35.
The BA rooms are not activated. The BA rooms on the carriers Eisenhower and Washington and maybe Truman. I know the Stennis will be. But they will require the cooling capabilities of the BA rooms, which circulates cool salt water through the underside of the flight deck.
But they were actually having an issue with
for 25 or 30 years.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, the U.S. military in general knows how to extend the service life of certain things. I mean, look at the B-52.
And then yet you still have the issue of what is it? I think it's the DoD constantly trying to retire the A-10.
No, it's Congress. It's
The
Congress.
A-10 and B-52 will never be retired. The A-10 and B-52 will never be retired in our lifetime.
I'm not so sure about that.
Well, that was because it was. They keep talking about that because of replacement parts.
Yeah, well, let's see that they're probably getting close to finishing the upgrades on the rest of the A-10 fleet. Hopefully, both for the Army and the Navy, not Air Force, I think.
The A-10
yeah, Navy.
Is,
I think.
the A-10 is only flown by the Air Force.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, I don't know that stuff. But I do believe that they want to throw it out. Well, DoD wants to throw it out in favor of the F-18 to take over it, or was it the F-35 that was supposed to take its place?
No, Congress wants to do that. Congress wants to get
it was
rid
Congress.
of
Okay, fair enough.
the airframes. The DoD is like, no, we love the capability of it. What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, honestly, I would love to know what the reasoning for their wishes.
The senators.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Who doesn't love an aircraft that you can blow off one wing entirely, half of the other, and the fucker still flies back?
Oh,
yeah. Just think of the pilot is literally flying in a titanium bathtub.
Yeah, Bo. To answer
the reason behind that is.
Bo, to answer your question,
pilots can't sleep in bathtubs, man. I'm telling you.
Bo, to answer your question of why there were people wanting to retire the A-10 in favor of a different platform that could adequately do the same job, not really. The senators pushing for that are the senators of the states that the company known as Boeing are located in.
Funny how that works.
Wait, one of those would be
Let's see.
Let's also take it back. All right, the A-10 really isn't a plane. It's a gun with wings mounted to it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Kind of like the scimitar.
It's a can opener with but now, if I don't know if the word nepotism is the right word to use here, but senators doing that because they, because they have companies where they live, all that stuff. If they had stocks in the company building those planes, that would literally be illegal for them to use that to do that, I would guess. But if it's just a matter of their state having
technically, under normal law that the average citizen has to adhere to, you would be right, though. Except Congress.
But this is the government.
No, except Congress, for some reason, has an exemption to the antitrust laws that prevent insider trading.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, to be fair, I've also looked at some of the prototypes from said companies that were going to supposedly replace the A-10. No.
No, about the only thing that's come close from other manufacturers are props and turboprop aircraft. There are no jet aircraft currently on the drawing board or in production or in serviceable use that can come close to the A-10's performance in its designed role.
I was going to say the closest we have currently right now is the AC-130, isn't it?
Yeah, Spooky. And Spooky does not have the quick reaction that an A-10 does.
Oh, you know what, Jared? We need to get those meme slideshows back again. I remember a certain F-130 with a pilot having a Glock or whatever, or a 1911 duct taped
Oh yeah.
to the fuselage, and then a piece of string tied to the trigger.
It's still there. It's just in a smaller box on the screen.
Yeah. By the way, I was, as I was looking through stuff to find that Harrier thing, a former, what was it, Marine test pilot bought a Harrier jump jet.
Yep.
Privately.
Yep.
What a weirdo!
Don't you know you can actually buy anything in America?
What?
Yeah,
hang
probably.
on.
But yeah, I mean, it's just,
Bo, here's the thing. All that they had to do was remove the actual munition stores and munition controls platforms, so that way it is no longer a military aircraft. It's just an aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
yeah,
isn't there
ECM and radio.
Well, isn't there
stuff,
somewhere
course,
in the United States that someone's already is operating currently an F-104 Starfighter?
I mean, you could get
Probably
you
in
could go
Nevada.
buy a used police interceptor. Why not a fucking Harrier jet? I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean,
they
they rotate police cruisers every 6 years, maybe, or less.
Depends.
Of course, they're going to sell them.
Depends on the
Right.
department.
Yeah.
But why not a Harrier? I mean, come on. It only
All right,
makes sense,
so
right?
I need
if you
to
got
learn
the
how
money-
to fly, and then we need to start a GoFundMe. Just saying.
That's right. Boo wants a Harrier.
You couldn't pay me enough to fly in a Harrier, period. Even as bitch. No, fuck that. No, fuck the Harrier, period.
I'm not flying in a Harrier. I'm epileptic.
honestly-
I can't fly.
I'll do it.
I mean, to be honest, a Harrier jump jet is an ugly airplane, and it sucks. I don't like
brick.
it. Yeah,
Its
no,
and it's
service
just, I
record
mean,
speaks for
they
itself.
make an airframe that is capable, barely, of hovering, and only for a limited time. And for what? How much do they get out of it? I mean, have they used it?
we
enough
used it a fuck
to
ton.
warrant
Oh,
that
it's used
extra
shit.
fuel costs, just the fuel cost alone,
Well,
you used it
because
a
of
fuck
its
ton.
increased weight compared to one that can't.
Bo, most of the time, actually, they did not do if they did vertical. Most time, it would be vertical landing. They usually did short
Yeah, I mean,
takeoffs on them.
Yeah,
They can't.
I mean,
They
it's a
can't
cool
do
thing to
vertical
have if you
takeoff
have
anyway when they're loaded. So
no, I mean it's an awesome feature to have if all your landing strips are fucked, etc. Cool, but
So
it's just not
Well,
not done.
it was the English developed it, and they developed it because they didn't use Cato bar carriers.
Oh, and I do believe that they're newer. I don't know when they got them, but their carriers they omitted the ramp as well. I think.
No, they still have the ramp.
The British.
They still have the ramp.
Or is it the Australian then?
The Brits
I think I
still
saw a
have the ramp.
documentary about it once.
The Brits still have
As
the ramp.
far, I'm going to say,
Brits
as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong on this, which could be, only nuclear-powered carriers are the only ones without ramps outside of our amphibious assault ships because they don't need them.
Yeah, because those are helicopter and the B model, the Harriers, where they could do a short takeoff, where they're using 75-80% of the runway to actually do their takeoff when loaded, and then they're doing a vertical landing when they get back, so they don't need the arresting wires. They because of how they do their flight ops, they don't need the ramp. But we do have a question related to this all from Fino from Ugly German Truths. What does the average Navy aircraft have in terms of maintenance hours per each flight hour? 10, 15? Probably more if you multiply with crew size? Nope. So, I brought this up in a comment thread on another video a couple months ago where they were actually talking about the retirement of the F-14. The reason why the F-14 was retired had nothing to do with it not being able to do the job. The reason why it was retired was because in the early 2000s, the Navy aviation community specifically went on a massive budgetary kick where we need to streamline and control our operational costs so we can do more fun stuff, essentially. and with that, the F-14, the older models, the A models that were retrofitted to become the D model Super Tomcats, which were only a couple squadrons worth. Those aircraft, for every 1 flight hour, had up to 60 maintenance hours requirement when they got back. Your average F-14 was still in the neighborhood of 35 to 45 maintenance hours per flight hour. And this was in 2006 when only 2 squadrons were operating the platform. Now,
but they were such good aircraft, though, AT2.
They were. They leaked like a fucking sieve on the ground, but they were, especially the Super Combat. The Super Tomcat was an amazing platform. I mean, it could do everything that the Hornet could and then some. Yes, it was a big, beefy bitch, but holy shit could it get the job done. Now, the aircraft that replaced it, which was initially the Legacy Hornet, the A, B, C, and D models. That currently...
you get to E and F, that's later on down the road.
Yeah, that's the Super Hornet. The Legacy Hornet, the actual Hornet, right now, its maintenance time per flight hour is in the neighborhood of 12 to 20 maintenance hours per flight hour. Your Super Hornets, your new ones off the line, 5 to 12.
Okay, so, all right, quick question. What about the Growler, the G variant?
Same thing.
Okay, because it's based off the Super Hornet frame, isn't it?
Yes, it's a F variant Super Hornet frame with the wingtip weapons pods changed out for an ECM antenna arrays and a couple of the wiring setups for the weapon stations changed to take the ALQ-99 jamming pods.
I'm reading right now on the militarywatchmagazine.com when the F-22 was entered into service in 2006. It had a running cost of $60,000 per hour.
Yep.
It doesn't say how many maintenance hours per flight hour. But damn,
that number is including fuel consumption. So that is your actual operational cost. Wow. That covers maintenance and consumables for the flight.
Generally, though,
and to think it was supposed to have undercut the F-15 for running costs. Oh, they blew that margin.
Yeah, but it wasn't to. It had the reason why we got the F-22 to replace the F-35 was because the F-35 is an aging airframe.
I mean, the
F-35,
and while it was still in development too.
Well, the F-22, and they actually did this test. One F-22 could take on 6 Israeli pilots in F-15 Strike not Strike Eagles.
The C models.
The C models, and win without ever having to get to actually engage in a dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
The Strike Eagles are hanging around, so.
The Strike Eagles are going to be around for a minute, but the F-22 was designed to replace that line of fighter for that reason. It's because if you don't need to engage in a dogfight, why would you?
But at the same time, with the mistakes that they made with the F-4 Phantom, the the 22 still has an internal gun. Granted, it only carries about 600 rounds, so about a 6 couple-second bursts. But it's still there. It still can perform in a dogfight. It's just expected to have already deployed a weapon and defeated the enemy before needing to be in a maneuvering fight.
Well, that's also the reason with the F-15 when it was in development, because the United States was moving away from proper interceptors to saying, "Oh shit, we actually need to build something that can actually dogfight."
Yeah, remember, they
it
can't
won't work
shoot you if they're dead.
Yeah, I realize it won't work in every situation, but when you have an airframe that is capable of carrying a fuck ton of long distance weaponry like the F-22, when you feel the need to start using the is it the Vulcan they have on it, the guns on it, that would be the equivalent of a soldier on the ground feeling the need to start using his sidearm.
Yeah, basically.
Because he's run out of the
pew, right.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cute, though.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, there is a legitimate use for using the gun in a literal dogfight, but how often would that happen, actually? And not use it for ground targets?
If it's a proper dogfight, it's going to be used first before the missiles, because missiles will be too close.
So, Ugly German Truce has to follow up to that. Can you quickly explain what that number means about, in absolute terms, concerning the maintenance hours per flight hour? And Heat Shield is right. It's not your man hours of labor, and it is an average. It is an average of the platform based on the flights. This is actual downtime of the bird, and this is routine maintenance. This is corrective maintenance. This is the amount of time it even takes to relocate, wash the aircraft, clean it off, and relocate it back to the hangar when they're at a shore facility. Which, yes, routine cleaning of the aircraft, bird baths, oddly enough, are part of your maintenance hour requirements. For every so many flight hours, the aircraft has to go get cleaned off.
It's gotta look pretty.
No, it's not just looking
pretty.
It's part of the corrosion prevention, because it lets you identify where is paint chipping, and then you gotta repaint the areas. The paint on an aircraft is not just to look pretty and make it look nice. It's there for a corrosion prevention measure, and that's for all branches.
Well, and for the
in the case of like F-22, it's there for radar.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say that, but you beat me to it. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? In case of like the F-22 and F-35, though, that's because it for radar.
Yeah, well,
it has 17 and B2.
Yeah, it has the RAM material, so it's not paint. It's an actual coating that you have to inspect and make sure is still in order, or else, yeah, it's going to be a lot more detectable than it's supposed to be.
Well, Nikki, it's basically like the paint that we had on our boat.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think that's where they got the idea from.
It was both corrosion prevention and acoustic, and that killed a bit of RAM too. So.
Yeah, you don't want the body of yours to turn into a whistle. That would be annoying mid-flight.
Well. To be fair. So, little quick story on me. We went from Norfolk, Virginia, down to Cape Canaveral as a stop-off point before we went off our little mini deployment out in the Caribbean. And we went full blast for 2 days. All head full 2 days from Norfolk, Virginia, all the way down to Cape Canaveral. We actually ripped sections of that rubber coating off.
Oh no!
We did full, never ripped anything off though. What boat were you on?
The Helena.
The Helena.
Okay. The second to last of the second flight 688s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You guys were flight locked on some of the equipment in your rate.
Well, I was a FT. I was
FT too.
Yeah, I was NEC bound to the Busy One system, so I could only do flight.
I had the mine was later generation. It was
CCS Mark II.
No, it was
BYG-1.
BYG-02.
No.
Yeah, me and Swordner's Cat were talking about this the other day.
Yeah, the predecessor to the BYG ones, the CCS Mark II, had just started being rolled out when I was on, but it was only rolling out to Flight 1s and some of the Flight 2s at the time. So.
Jared, I was again thinking of a video this time from Airboyd, the channel. We were talking about paint and its preventative measurements.
Mm-hmm.
Measures, sorry. There's this video of a B-52 Stratofortress scramble exercise. When you see those B-52s, they have scratched paint in places I would never have thought they would have. And they're scratched all over the place. Mm-hmm. It's as if they don't bother paint them or retouch it. It's kind of weird to see, actually.
Well,
most of the B-52s are stationed in air bases that are in very arid areas.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to think about this too. We have not made a new B-52 since probably the early '60s.
There are people there are people right now that are serving in B-52s that their granddad served in.
Yeah. These specifically was from the 2nd Operations Group in Barksdale Air Force Base, Los Angeles. In this case, I don't know how the weather is there, but can't imagine it be very humid.
No, with where the base is, it's warm, it's dry because they are inland. They're not on the coast.
Yeah, the only other intercontinental bombers we have that are also stationed inland are the B-2s, and me and Karis are in the state that they're in, so.
Good old
you can actually
what
drive
I don't
to the
get
base.
is when you look at the tail, the weird places it has those I don't know if they're paint chips or literal scratches or whatever due to friction, but it's just
most of it would be because when the B-52 first came out, it actually still had a tail gunner's position.
What? Oh yeah. But
we don't have the need for that, so they put all the countermeasures in that spot now too. So even if you look at a fresh B-52 on the flight line, it doesn't look like the one from back in the 50s and 60s. It's been updated, it's been retooled, it's not the original B-52.
The wear and tear of the vertical stabilizer there. Yeah, that. Here's the thing. A bird like the Buff, they're not going to be repainting it every single time it gets chipped. That is actually a planned evolution. Because the amount of paint it requires and also the equipment that they need. It is easier to repaint an F-16 or an F-15 on the fly than it is the Buff.
Yeah, but I'm thinking most about the areas where the paint falls off or gets eroded off. If it was the leading edges, for example, on the tail, you saw that's fine.
Yeah,
but
bring that back
on
up,
the, but further in, into the tail, on the rudder, but before the rudder hinge.
Yeah. So what?
That's a weird place for it to.
Not really, because when you look at the way that it's actually shaped, it's not a flat surface. It from the leading edge, it actually comes out and then tapers back for the control surface. It is a very teardrop shape, and with that, those outer bits,
Friction.
you're getting friction from the air, you're getting heating, you're getting actual heat from the engine as well as the friction through the flight.
An expansion.
Yeah, you're getting.
That was another thing I was going to bring up too. AT2 is the B-52 actually, for its size, it's a very fast aircraft.
Well, hey, that's the funny thing, because
it's borderline to where it almost hits the speed of sound.
Well, in this video, it takes a long time for the closest B-52 to the camera to actually get going. Though they're not doing it in a wartime scenario, so they do spend a little bit of time to warm up the engines and the hydraulics, most likely. But when they actually punch it just to get the the inertia going, the friction going, just to get it moving, I was surprised because it just went woof.
Yeah. Well,
and it was moving
for
taxiing. That was
Well, look at how many engines it has going on. And here's another thing.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it's fully fueled and fully loaded too.
It's meant to carry a fuckload of bombs.
Yeah.
And
it's not
bulking
at the cargo.
Something else that Blue Marble mentioned in the chat that I didn't get to yet as well, that will cause that, especially on leading edges, weather. Rain hurts at speed. I know from experience.
I would imagine that. I would imagine that raindrops are more abrasive, so to speak, than hail is. Within reason, of course.
To paraphrase, raindrops keep boring through my head.
Yeah. Yeah, rain when you're moving, even at 50 miles an hour, fucking hurts if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, well, I have been in a, what would you guys call it? Recce Jeep, open roof Jeep for reconnoitering. I hate that word, reconnoitering. I can't even say it. Recce.
Recon.
Recon. Yeah, that's easier. Recon.
Reconnoitering.
I've been in one of those without goggles on, and that part sucked. It was awesome to do that, but it kind of hurt when it started raining.
Yeah. All right,
on the cheeks a little bit.
We're calling it a night here in a minute anyways, Coral, so if you want to let anyone know what's going on, take a couple minutes and do so.
Oh, yeah, no, the only thing that we have going on soon is we're going to be doing NaNoWriMo, so we got a fun month in November of lots of writing and virtual writing. If anybody wants to join us and write a 50,000 word novel in 30 days, no sweat.
Oh, no big deal, not at all.
I am really looking forward to being part of this.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. So we're
experience for us.
It's going to be pretty cool. So I've been working really hard trying to get together these intros and these outros and stuff like that, and getting all of the stuff needed for it. And so it's been.
No, I seriously approve of it, because it was when you sent me that all those things, I was like, I don't know how I can use this, but I'm sure I can fucking use it.
And we all know, as soon as the yin yang approves it, it's all good. It's on.
Right. If it's full approved, we're good.
I'm not quite sure what your vision is, but I like it.
We're gonna figure it out, so. But yeah, we got a little bit more time in the planning stages, so we'll see. So
But maybe you could try and book some time on that AI software that they've started playing with.
Oh, Winston.
Here, no, not Winston. It's a piece of software they're playing with here. In my neck of the woods, I tried it. One of our news agencies had an article about it, and they had some sample texts from a legitimate source, and then some sample text from this AI software. Compiling some bullshit articles, and you get to try and figure out which one is the real one. Yeah, most people suck at guessing which is the bogus one.
That doesn't surprise me much.
And yet it's scary
Is
all
that
at the same
like
time.
That's like a flat earther saying it's fake when it's not.
Yeah, and for some strange reason,
prove it.
yeah, but for some strange reason, they don't really want to release access to it.
Yeah.
Kinda, for some weird reason.
I wonder why. But,
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything coming up that they would love to tell the peoples about?
Politics, 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 politics.
Huh?
Oh, I see
Is
you're
that a
working on your
suggestion?
intro.
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
And Coral, I'm sending you another link to something I think you're going to find adorable, by the way.
Yes.
I have GoFundMe going right now for my computer because I'm getting ready to switch jobs here probably within the next couple weeks, and it's going to be for a lower paying job because I just can't do the job I'm doing now, physically or mentally. So I do have a GoFundMe going for that.
Well, hey, if you at least can hold a job, hey, I'm jealous of you, to be honest. I'm glad. I'm happy for you to actually be able to.
To be fair, no, it's getting to the point where I can't because of mental problems.
I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, we'll be thinking of you.
Oh yeah.
But like I said, I do have a GoFundMe. You can also donate through PayPal and Cash App, depending on where you're at in the world. But if anyone wants any of that information, if they haven't already seen it on all the other Discords, I'll post it. Hit me up on Discord or Twitter, and I'll give you the information.
Yeah, make sure you put it on Twitter, and then I'll share it out.
It's already on Twitter.
Am I following you on Twitter? I thought we are.
Probably not.
Are you stalking him on Twitter? Is that what you said, or what? What?
I'm stalking everybody.
You're stalking? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, come on. I mean, this is Coral we're talking about.
Oh, with that, it has been quite the night, and get ready, people, because this is going to be a typical Saturday night thing where most weeks it will be Kanar with Tamar feeding right into VTW because, we have quite the sci-fi topics to talk about, and if we're doing it on a Saturday night, might as well make both of them as close to weekly thing as possible. And that way, I don't have to worry about if I get stuck at work on a Friday night, because that hasn't happened at all in the last few... Wait a minute. It's happened every Friday. The last
all right. So, Jared, when are you going to cover Babylon 5?
Do you know how we do? You know how we alternate between Trek and everything else? Well, next week we are doing the follow-up to the Sci-Fi Smackdown, and then because I really don't want to get into the JJ Verse stuff, we may just end up going into more of an expanded offering the week after, where could be Babylon 5. It could it could coincide with a schedule change of the entertainment nights on the Discord server, where we just might start talking about Stargate or Farscape or any of the number of other sci-fi franchises that I am well aware of and am slightly more than a casual fan of.
Yeah, now that you mention the Stargate thing. Yeah. Now that you mentioned the Stargate thing, they're getting really close now to starting production. Well, working on getting started on a production of a new Stargate series that is canon.
Ooh.
Getting closer to it. They claim, but they keep claiming getting closer to it.
I have such
Andor,
little.
but-
I have such little faith and trust in the creative works that are Hollywood in general that I will hold
Yeah.
judgment until they actually produce something and then rightfully rip it apart if it's deserving of it.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
look at what happened to Star Trek
But-
Discovery.
But it is getting late. It has been quite the evening, and we are going to go off air. So, with that, try to get your last comment in, and good luck, Jay. I know you're going to try for
Ring my
it.
bell to be a special subscriber.
Good night, everybody.